Hello, the game has started and my opponent has opened with Orc. Now I have Dubry and that plays nicely as a double-double. Pretty good pickup. I can use the blank as a vowel and I should be bingoing here too. Disnest. Looking at the K, but unlikely for a 8 to emerge from the K or onto the K. I'd likely be playing through a vowel. Opponent has created another opportunity for a double-double, so 2 of those in a row. Disnest for 84. I draw the Q, and I do have a spot for it. I could just dump the Q here, maybe chin for 14. Opponent has played wiry for 30. I have sank, which would be face value pretty much. I'm not seeing a whole lot more on offer by way of the Q, and I really do want to get rid of the Q as soon as possible, so I think I'll go with sank. I draw another I, so I have the ISH suffix. Roguish, if the I were a U. Looking for hot spots to play the H. I have O and O for 29, keeping both I's, not ideal, but it's a decent score, and I'm not seeing a whole lot more available. Now I do have Chig here for 25, slightly lower score but better rack leave. And when the score differential is so small, 28 versus 25, I tend to prefer the better rack leave with the slightly lower score. Opponent plays Quell and has now provided a great spot for the H. I have Hoys for 46. But before I play that, I do also have Quells and Shear, for example. That's 36. No, Hoys is definitely better. And the rack leave, not bad at all. Okay, I've duplicated letters on the rack, which is not ideal, but I have Friar, which would be a good way to get rid of the duplicates. Lazy takes a G, and I'm looking at a 5-letter play that incorporates the F and the G. Or even I have frag, doesn't get doubled, but it is 34 points. Good spot for the F here as well. Nothing goes between D and Z as a three-letter word. What about riff? That's a 30-point play. I don't mind the double A. There's a little bit of synergy happening here anyway. And I retain the G for a possible hook next turn. I'm going with riff. Okay, fairly balanced. A little bit vowel heavy, but I should be able to score. Still looking at ways to hook my G on to lazy, yage, Y also plays next to the A, so 26 for gay. What about a NY play? Nope. Opponents played cot. What about grey? 32. Vowel heavy leave, not ideal. Still tempted to hang on to the G for a big play later. Loy is good, but yeah, just not seeing. Well, there is one G and a blank to come, so I think I might even just take the spot out and play it like that. Because nothing goes in front of gay. It does control the board. Slightly lower score than using the hook, but safer. Ah, that's not a bad looking rack. That looks like a bingo. Proemia or Paroema. Paroema, I think, onto an A. But I think there is a 7 here. Emporia. Emporia or Proemia. Looking at the S as well. The G doesn't really help me in terms of bingos, and neither does my opponent's play of sap. Emporia doesn't play. Paroemia. What to do? Are there any floaters I can utilize apart from the S? And does the S combine to form a bingo? Not seeing it. Well, not in first place anyway. I might be missing something. Right, how best to score with this rack? What does rape score? 34. Does create an easy scoring opportunity for my opponent. Two O's to come and a whole bunch of A's. So I'll be looking to get rid of an A. So what about map? A weak score. I think I will go for score. Rape for 34. Looking at possible plays, opponent likely to take this spot, but if I have a four-letter play beginning with E, which I'm not, Emir, that would work. So 30 if opponent doesn't, shocking rack leave. I wonder if I could get rid of the V rather than the... Still a H to come, so H1 down, forming CH. LR is good. Mer. Okay, opponents played Dido. Now it's close to a bingo, this rack, actually. Just the B, M and V don't work well together. But what about Bevor? Just to take out this bingo lane. Bevor. Yeah, I think I will do this. Okay, not exactly bingo territory. Opponent does bingo. And scores well. What about MAME? 32. Yeah, I think I'll go with this, especially since the X is yet to be played and 14J is a super hot spot for the X, so that takes that danger out. Now, duplicate city again, double A, double N. Alan is good, so hen would be an option. Doesn't address the duplicate A issue. Opponent scores well with the X. I was thinking about a play like hang, but that gives too many hooks for the hat. I think hen scores quite well, but what about na? Does create a bingo lane, addresses the duplicate issue, scores 25. What about ha here? That's 26 and safer. I'm going with this. Gannets. No place. I can play Jen and Alan for an average score. The game is won, but always looking to maximize the score on each and every turn. Okay, opponents played OU. Now, I think I will go with Jen. Running low on time. That's 18, not great. But I'll go with it. Jen, I'll draw the J. And just looking for potential spots to play the J. So I have Jot for face value. Jut, face value. Thinking of a reword with a J. Nothing there. Oh, I have jag or jig. Probably play jig. At the top, onto the G. I have tat and taj. That looks alright, although tat takes a E front hook, so not a good idea to give opponent a bingo opportunity. Now, which potential bingos? Oh, there are only 6 tiles left. No J plays available bottom left, so I'll go with jig. And what about jag and stint? Stint wouldn't play anywhere, would it? Nah, too tight a board. But I have ochres and sanks, so I will go with this one. Wow, big score. 39. So I'll go with I have shit there. Okay, ochres and sanks. And opponent plays jeu. I have 30 seconds. Dipped is good. I think I'll play that for 7 and then ton. Yeah, but opponent will go out. And that's the end of the game. 378 to 493. Thank my opponent. And let's see what we missed. A little bit of a protracted end to the game there with short little plays. Cowra for opponent. He went with Orc. Then Dewberry for 100, which was a nice start to the game. No bingo here, but pretty close. Goal, yeah, just average scores. Opponent goes with Gore, which does give me another 4-timer, Disnest. And that was the only 4-timer available. Then Whirly for 40 would have been a nice score. Opponent goes with Wiry. Chin for 14 or Sank for 17. Similar equities. I did think Chin was a good option initially when I looked at it, but then I thought a play of Cat or Caddy or Cade. I just thought, why give opponent the opportunity for a good score when I can put the Q on the other side of the I and remove that danger? So that's a little bit behind the thinking of Sank. And then opponents got the blank and the Z. Zell suggested for 29 with LTU blank. That's a pretty good play, I'd say. D4, where was that? Zell, okay, pretty safe as well. Opponent goes with Quell, also pretty good. ZT blank, some good synergy there. But obviously the score differential quite large. And Quell also created a couple of hot spots for me, which I leapt on. Ogreish, that's also quite nice. Ogrish, just along the bottom. But I went with Hoys. Then opponents got Lazy looks fine, 32 with a good rack leave. Now Frag was the one I suggested at the time. Sorted the rack out, good leave, but I thought I'm going to be giving back 30 to 40 or worse by exposing the trip lane at the top. So that was my thinking against Frag. And I went with a Riff, and the other thought was to keep the G for a potential bingo next turn as well. Now, Tossstone and Testoon. Yeah, both playable bingos at J9. Down there, yeah. Bit tricky to spot. Opponent goes with Cot Yoga for 34. Again, utilizing the glazy hook. Really nice rack leave. That might have been worth considering. Yoga, yeah. I did consider Yag, but Yoga, for that improved rack leave, it might have been worth exposing the trip for. Yeah, I should have spotted Yoga. Then opponents now got a couple of bingos. End topic, pound set, and those were playable in 2 different spots. He goes with Jep or Sep. Now, no playable bingo, but impro for 40. Wow. IMPRO. And that would have given us both a shot of a triple word play. Impro would have been a good play, I think, on that turn. But rape was a bit safe. It wasn't as safe. It was a similar idea. Now opponents got Snoddit for a whopping 94 at 04. Making Zen and Yaps. Snoddit. Wow, that's not very familiar. Dentoid also playable. That one's more familiar. But Snoddit, very nice. No bingo, but Vibe for 26. And the reason I played Bevor is it killed a very, very useful bingo lane with a blank unseen. Yeah, I thought just kill that lane pronto. And then opponents got Duplicate City here, but Stinting playable from the S and a lovely find. Oh, and also Entitling. Through the LI. Very nice. But Stinting the better one. And then Maim for 32 took out the... But Haim would have scored slightly more. HAEM. Yeah, that was a little bit of a miss, I'd say. But at least I did address the X hotspot and scored well in the process. Opponent does have the X and would have had XU for 50 plus. So good thing that spot was addressed. UFO for 28, 4 for 36. Opponent goes with Fax for 34. Now Agha for 41. Where was that? Beautiful. Look at that. Parallel play. Ami, Gan, Hit, and Ami, Agha. That's a fantastic play. A word that I often miss, actually, this four-letter play, Agha. So I need to do something to help remember that one. I went with Ha, half the word. And then Sank with the UE version opponent could have extended. He went with OU. Gannets didn't play, but Gan for 21 at B12. Yeah, Gan would have been fine, but not great actually, because Gan takes an E, and opponent would have had a monster play like JEEL, Jill or Geely or something like that. So I'm happy I didn't play Gan in that spot, and Gen a lot safer. As it happens, opponent didn't have the J, but he still would have had a pretty big score with the V and the W. So Wheel for 29, Veil for 29, that looks fine. Jig for 27 was my play. Gins for 31. I9. Gins and A's. That's quite nice, and that would have given me an outplay. Tat. Pretty sure I could have played Tat somewhere. Onto the O. Maybe not, actually. Tat. No, maybe I couldn't have played Tat. But anyway, still, Gins was still better than Jig. And then opponent had way for 39, big score. Ochres for 24 was best in this position. And then Jeu for 10, but Wexe for and Coat for 20. So that would have been good. And that was the end of the game. So opponent, I played dipped and opponent went out with re. So that was the end of the game. 1 or 2 misses. Some nice plays, I thought. Hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.